Aaron, what is our fifth main topic today?
Here we go. This comes to us from Sam. Hi, John and crew. I am sure everyone has seen the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. One thing I can say is I love the first 2 episodes, and I can't wait to see more. I think it's better than The Mandalorian so far, but that's probably pushing it. I want to know them's fighting words right there. I want to know what you thought about the first 2 episodes. Thanks, and have a great weekend, and have a great Memorial Day.
All right, well, thanks a lot for that, Sam. And yes, we're going to talk about Obi-Wan here. We're not going to spoil things, any big plot details or anything from it. But we are going to do an open spoiler discussion about Obi-Wan a little bit later today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so whatever time that is for you. Rob and I are going to be doing our open spoiler discussion about it. So if you haven't watched the first 2 episodes, you still got a bunch of hours to go and catch it. Make sure you come back and join us for that as we talk about it in a full open spoiler way. But for now, we're just going to give our general thoughts on it. Again, a little background here. I was not pro them doing an Obi-Wan story. Another going backwards in time story. I like stories that move forward, but I got won over to the idea a couple of years ago, and I've been getting pretty damn excited. The previews have looked good, all that kind of stuff, so I went into it not knowing what to expect, and I got to tell you, I quite enjoyed it. Now, let me say this. This is something that happens in the show, but it's the previously on part. So this is something that happens right at the very beginning. I'm not spoiling anything. This happens right at the very beginning. It's the previously on, where they go previously on Star Wars. And they basically, in about 1 minute, kind of run through the prequels from young Anakin to the final, battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It just kind of sets the stage for the show, right? And what struck me was, here's something I've always said about the prequels. They are hot garbage, but I've always said if you took the story of the prequels and you broke it down into like a 5-page outline, like paragraph by paragraph, so this happens and then this happens and then this happens, and you break the story of the prequels down into a 5-page outline, it is brilliant. It's a wonderful story. Just the movies didn't deliver, but the story is wonderful. And as I'm watching that previously on part, I'm just reminded of that. It's like, damn, they had such an epic story to tell. Like really the story of the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker is epic. It's absolutely epic. Again, just the movie let them down. But that aside, the story is great. And the way they cut together the little previously on that led into it was a beautiful way to set the stage of where we find Obi-Wan when this thing starts and goes. All right, so here's my general thoughts of it. Episode 1, fantastic. Episode 2, good. I'll say episode 1, fantastic. Episode 2, good. I like the second episode, I do. It was a step down from episode 1, but re-meeting Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and I love the fact that they don't just do, hey, it's the same old Obi-Wan that we knew. No. It's been 10 years. And 10 years changes a person. And without going into how it did it, I love where we found Obi-Wan. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, where we find Obi-Wan and the way Ewan McGregor plays that. While still maintaining every once in a while little Alec McGinnis's in the thing, and I won't give anything away.
McGinnis's, I like that. McGinnisisms.
Just the way he played it was so good. I am over Tatooine and like being in everything Star Wars, but man, they use the environments to really accent where Obi-Wan is. Again, not just physically, but mentally. It just plays a great backdrop for it. The whole beginning of it is all character. Episode 1 is all character. I'll tell you what, the scene that we saw in the trailer of third sister, Reva, the Inquisitor, going face to face with Owen Lars. I loved it in the trailer. Plays even better in the episode. Like I was like, oh God, this is so good. And when the Inquisitors show up, you feel that like, oh shit, here we go. The Inquisitors show up and all that kind of stuff. We move into episode 2. Episode 2 changes tone a little bit, and which it needed to do. There's a few appearances here and there. Again, I wasn't as into episode 2 as I was episode 1. But look, for me in general, it's a good start. We are off to a good start with this. Definitely a stronger start than, like, say, the first 2 episodes of Boba Fett. But I feel good. I ended the first 2 episodes going, all right, I'm ready for episode 3. Let's go. So I liked what I saw, had a really good time with it. Again, episode 1 particularly, just laying that groundwork, setting the scenario. I thought what Deborah Chow did, let's face it, this is an unnecessary show. Well, what did Obi-Wan do between now and then? Look, we know where he came from. We know where he ends up. This is an unnecessary show. But she stepped in there, took it, and she is telling a compelling story to me. So I'm on board. Rob, you had a chance to see it without giving any spoilers or anything away. What stood out to you? What did you think?
I kind of feel the way you felt. I really enjoyed the first episode.
Well, I remember because you finished the first episode while I was still watching it, and you texted me last night going, oh my God, this first episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what they were doing with the episode. I really did I thought the relationship the Inquisitors had with one another was interesting. There's a couple of really great, I'm not going to get into what these are, but really great scenes. There were some things that were surprising, location-wise.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And I was really intrigued by, and I thought Ewan McGregor was great as kind of like this burnt out, the galaxy went to hell and he was partially responsible. It happened on his watch. So the fact that he was haunted by what had happened, I really enjoyed that. So that I really, really liked. So it was a great start for me. I was really enjoying it. The second episode, I won't really get into. It was really kind of a mixed bag for me. Not because of what happened so much as the way it was presented. There's another character in the story that becomes very prominent that I had a problem with the conception and portrayal of this particular individual that we'll talk about this afternoon. That bothered me. And it felt, well, I won't get into it, but I want to see where it's all going to go, because I think that's just part of something. There's a much larger thing playing out here, and we'll see where that goes. But I think of all of the Star Wars shows, the first episode was more satisfying to me. It was probably the most satisfying, even more so than most of the Mandalorian episodes, just because it was Ewan McGregor and it had that star power. But look, it's a beautifully crafted show. A lot of thought has gone into it. But there was talk we heard a while ago that some of the scripts were rewritten because they were too dark. I think that my real overall criticism was I think the show could have been darker. I think it could have gone further than it did. Now, I understand why, but they really lightened up a certain element of the show, and I'm like, they should have gone a little darker. But we'll see. I mean, I'm intrigued. I thought Ewan McGregor was great. I really enjoyed visiting the world. And like you, I'm tired of Tatooine. And I'm really tired of how the way they're using the volume stage to shoot these things has limited the way these shows can work. But I think Deborah Chow did a really good job of making those volume stages. She was doing a lot more with
They felt bigger than they had before.
And that's what I felt. It needed, that I wanted to have more scope, and I think it did.
By the way, there's a scene that you hear in the trailer of Obi-Wan's voice going, "The fight is over. We lost." Those are powerful words. The scene in which those words happen, more powerful.
Yeah.
Like when you actually see that line being said in context in the show, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like you really, really felt it. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. You know, the one with the delightful ads with good Canadian kid Ryan Reynolds. So look, after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't a catch. And guys, that's no joke, because for years I've been using one of the major providers and it was fine. But I switched over to Mint Mobile a little while ago. The service has been fantastic. And the big difference is I'm now paying about 1/3 of what I was paying before. And the best part for anybody who just hates their phone bills is that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, Aaron, you watched the first 2 episodes. Thankfully, it dropped at 9 p.m. for us instead of midnight.
When I got your text message, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get some sleep tonight. I was not looking forward to being up until 2 in the morning. But I was anyway. Crying baby. I will say this. I have been tired of Tatooine since 1977. So, yes. And I will say this also, when the opening, previously on, thank you so much for this, because as you guys probably already know, I have not seen any of those movies because I barely got through the first Star Wars and I was like, this is a lot of fucking sand. And so my husband was like, I'm done with you. And he's like, you don't need to watch these other ones. This is what happens, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen Lawrence of Arabia either.
What?
Too much sand. I don't like all that sand.
Too much sand. She doesn't like sand.
Everywhere.
A lot of sand.
Coarse,
it gets everywhere.
It's rough.
It's yeah. So I and everyone, you guys included, have always been like, oh God, these are the worst. You don't need to watch them. Blah blah. So I'm sitting there. I mean, you guys would have had a field day. I think you would have been more entertained watching me watch the previously on than you were in the second episode of this, because I was sitting there like a kid in a candy store and I go, holy shit, Natalie Portman is Luke's mom. And Tom goes, oh my God. And I go, wait, there were 2 babies? And he goes, what is wrong with you? Luke and Leia, catch up. I mean, all of this was new for me. I mean, I was like, oh my God, they killed Hayden Christensen. He goes, he's not dead. And I go, what do you mean he's not dead? He goes, he's Darth Vader, you idiot. He was so angry at me. And it was pretty funny. That being said, for someone such as myself who has not seen all of the movies and doesn't know all of the history, I thought that the previously on was brilliant. I thought it was beautifully done. You said it beautifully. They compacted an entire storyline in a 1 minute previously on that gave me all of the information that I needed to know. I felt very caught up and I felt like, okay, great. I'm ready to watch this now. And I did not feel as many people who are not as familiar with the history might be intimidated. Like, how do I go in and start watching Obi-Wan? So I know that there are some people watching right now that are like, hey, how do I get my friend or my partner or whatever to be interested in this show when they're not big Star Wars fans?
You can.
You can.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, I am proof positive. As not being someone familiar with the iconography of Star Wars, I got it and I was in and I loved the first episode. And I'm not doing any spoilers when I talk about casting, when I talk about actors that are in this, I'm not saying who they are playing, but like Kamal Nanjiani, loved him. I think that he infused this, a level of levity that we've come to know and expect from some of these Lucas series. There's always, as deep as it gets, there's always someone that kind of raises it up a little bit, lets us breathe a bit. I've already said that my love for Vivian Lyra Blair is beyond. I think that she is a standout, and being able to hold her own with Ewan McGregor is beautiful. There were some performances that I'm not going to lie, I was really surprised and disappointed by. I won't go into who that was, but I felt like there was there were moments that were jarring of like, really?
Well, I'll say it. I'll say it. I am not on board with Moses' portrayal of Reva right now. It just, I like the character. I like the idea of the character and what the character is to be and the position the character's in and who the character is. I am not on board with the creative decision that Deborah Chow, and I love the work that Deborah Chow's done on the show, I do, but I'm not really on board with the creative decision that her and Moses have decided upon on how to portray the character.
It felt flat.
It just felt a little one-dimensional.
Like we're gonna make this character be a certain way, and she's not gonna have any levels. And when no matter what the creative choice of a character is, whether it's this person is bad or this person is good, there has to be a duality. There has to be, if you are playing a character who is good, there has to be some sort of inner conflict that forces you to rise above that and still choose the good. If you're playing a character that's supposed to be bad, there has to be some sort of pain underneath it that forces that. And you're right, I feel like there's not a lot of levels. And Benny Safdie's performance, I was really surprised. That was a really great scene, specifically, the one that I'm talking about. And I felt like it was a little rushed. I felt like it was the last scene of the day, and they were like, come on, guys, we're losing light. We got to go. And the nuance that could have been imbued into that scene wasn't there. And Benny Safdie's a really talented actor, so I was a bit surprised by that scene as well.
I'll say this about the Reva stuff. Now, I'm withholding judgment on it a little bit, because for all we know, once we get into episodes 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we might go, oh my gosh, yeah, that was just really laying a foundation stuff, and that may just set the stage for some great stuff the character does later. But right now, I'm a little bit iffy on that particular performance. Right.
Yeah, but on the other hand, who I really enjoyed, probably comes as no surprise to anyone, Sung Kang.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Sung Kang.
My man Sung Kang.
Justice. Han got justice.
Han got some justice, man, and I was thoroughly enjoying him.
That's him?
As fifth brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Man, I was
right.
having so much fun watching him, and I really liked what's his name, Richard
Friend?
Rupert
Friend.
Yeah, that was what I was not enjoying, because I'm like, how do you cover up all that gorgeousness with all that?
But he was good.
He was so good.
Yeah,
Like when he walked in,
He's so good.
I thought he was really good, and that's another thing. Like you said, I think the Reva performance. Look, those three characters are a lot of fun. They should have been a lot of fun together, and I think that Reva's performance, there needed to be more of a twinkle in her eye. Like she was, like you said,
which may come as the series progresses.
And let's be real. All credit to the actress. Moses Ingram is a brilliantly talented actress. She made her debut in The Queen's Gambit and was nominated for an Emmy. And if you saw The Queen's Gambit, she was lived in the orphanage with the main she's the best friend, and she was brilliant in that. She's an incredibly talented actress, but I agree with you, this comes to maybe there being a discrepancy of between Deborah Chow, who I thought did a beautiful job directing both episodes, and I will also, there's been a word that's been in the chat that I think also is true, no spoiler here, but parkour. And I'm sorry, it just, those moments I was like, oh God. Oh.
You know what, I didn't mind it, but there's a moment during the parkour. There's one. We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
There's the moment, and it's like that was unnecessary.
Yeah. But I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
already.
we'll get that a little bit. I want to throw it over the other table here.
Yeah,
for a second.
please.
I want to let me start with you, Ray. You didn't. First of all, what the fuck? You didn't come over and have. So what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't cook for John?
I laid out on the couch and I was like, I can't move, man. It was a long
But
day.
you watched the episode.
I will be there next week. I promise to everybody. I'll join again. But I watched it. I didn't mind it. I'm really easy to please. I mean, some of the layers. Some of that stuff was.
It's on IMDb. It's not. That is. I don't think that's a spoiler.
What? How do you pronounce her name? Reva.
Reva.
She had no personality to me. It just seemed like a robot walking around. That's it.
She wasn't having as much fun as a villain should be having.
I just want this show to just be centered on Ewan McGregor, Obi, right? I don't want it to I'm scared that it's going to veer off into other things where the spotlight is not on him. I really want them to stick with that. That's all I'm asking. But I really did like the first 2 episodes. I mean, I couldn't say I hated him. So
you mean you don't want them to have a show called Boba Fett and then make it about the Mandalorian?
Yeah, exactly. Because
No one would
like
do
I was
that.
saying in the
I'm
chat,
crazy.
this show to me feels like there's a building up of this Obi-Wan character, which I'm not really familiar with. I hate to say it because, like I said, I didn't finish the original trilogy. I only go off of what I've seen and what I've heard. But it feels like the series is going to be like a Rocky training montage where you kind of want to see him progress,
Right.
and then become what he becomes, and then the final fight, right?
Well,
So-
I know Jonathan's only had a chance, to watch one of the 2 episodes last night, but you liked the first episode, yes?
Yes, I loved it. I thought the tone was great. I love that they hit the nail on the head there. It's been 10 years. This guy's been living in a cave in the desert. There's comments of his his cleanliness.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
becoming
that was
hermit.
funny.
He's becoming that old hermit, and he is.
That wizard's just a crazy old
They
man.
feel like they lost. There's no perspective of what's to come, so they do honestly feel like they lost, and I just love it.
Now tell me, timeline-wise, are we going to see any Ewoks?
No, they're not going to be going to Endor in this. I'm pretty sure they won't be going to Endor in this.
Endor smells like outdoor.
I will say, Star
Friday
Wars,
restaurant. That's a Friday restaurant.
Star Wars seems to replace all the space battles with parkour now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, again, we're not going to go into the scene. We're not going to go into the scene. but-
Parkour's cheaper.
yeah,
well-
parkour is cheaper.
Can somebody wake me up whenever there's a show that has? Can we just get an Ewok show? Just give me the Ewok show.
It's an animated series.
No, I want like a full blown. I want Joey Bishop to be starring.
Ewok
I want her
cooking show?
to finally. I want her to be the the lead Ewok. Give me that money.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan if you've had a chance to see them so far? Did you love it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Where is it for you? Are you excited for episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6? What do you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.